to sight, we are ready to assist. Can't be afraid of blood or anything like that. So, one of the first things you need to do as a first aider when you go back to your work is to check and see where your first aid boxes are. Because when you're called, you need to take it and run with it and go to the scene. You need to check that it's got contents in there so you can be able to use it. Okay? So, you are called to a scene. You rush to the scene, you bring your box. You must, number one thing, check for danger. We don't want you to end up like the casualty. So, we want you to be able to offer some assistance in some reasonable, safe environment. So make sure there's no ceiling collapsing, no oncoming vehicle, no, they're not connected to electricity, there's no glass on the floor. Okay? Once you've established that, your next role is to introduce yourself. You can't do anything to anyone without telling them who you are and that you're a first aider and you're there to help them, because they may think you're going to mug them or you're going to do something nasty to them. So, you introduce yourself and you ask them if they're all right. You need to ask them if you can help them, because they may not want you to touch them, they may tell you to get lost. So you introduce yourself. Hello, hello. Make sure they're not drunk or asleep. Hello, my name is Joan Manning. I'm a first aider and I'm here to help you. Are you all right? You don't seem to be responding. I'm going to check if you're breathing. Number one thing that a first aider can do for a casualty is to preserve their life. How do we preserve life? We have to find out if they're breathing. If they're not breathing, we check. We extend the head, put our cheek next to the mouth, listen for air movements on the cheek, feel for the pulse, and look at the chest to see if it's rising and falling. All three things we do at the same time. But if you're going to undo the coat again, tell them. Just undoing your coat to check if your heart is pumping. Extending your head just to open your airway. I'm just checking for your pulse to see if you're breathing. Please keep talking and telling them, explaining, because at some point they may say, they're lost. And you say, that's nice, lovely, at least you're alive, you're breathing. One less job to do. So, by talking, they might just hear, get off. Okay, don't worry, I'll call the ambulance anyway. Right, so, you look, listen and feel. You're looking at the chest to see if it's rising and falling. You're feeling for the pulse, as you said. Sometimes it may be difficult to feel the pulse, so sometimes you may need to feel both sides with both fingers. I've felt a lot of pulses, and sometimes one side beats heavier than the other. Sometimes twice I couldn't find two people's pulse. Walking Dead. But eventually when they started pumping, get some exercise, the pulse started. So you can get some people with very low pulse. So if you can't feel it on one side, go up behind the head and feel both hands. Just move your hands around until you can feel that pumping sensation. So feel this part here on your hand and you'll feel the pumping sensation. And when you establish that sensation, press under this jawbone, under your neck, and you should feel the same pulsing sensation. If you're reasonably fit, that is. If you're not, so, have a good feel, because we don't want you pumping on the chest if their heart is still beating. This pulse that goes to the brain indicates blood is being supplied to the brain and that carotid artery is active. Okay? So we want to establish that. If we feel, and we can feel a pulse, and we can see the chest rising, it means the heart is beating, but they just collapsed. Turn them towards you in the recovery position. That's the second most important thing. But if they are not breathing, they become emergency. You need to get help, get the ambulance on its way before you start pumping the chest. So, anyone standing around, get them involved. Hello, this casualty is not breathing. Can you call the ambulance, please? I'm going to press her chest. You're not breathing, so I'm going to press on your chest to get your heart beating. Call the ambulance. You're going to be all right. Let me check your mouth. Make sure you haven't got anything blocking your airways. No, that's fine. So I'm going to press on your chest now. Feel for the stomach. 4 fingers up. Make sure your hand is in line with the nipples. Heel of one hand, straight, the other one on top. And you're going to press down for 30 beats, 30 compressions. Okay? If it's a fairly big person, a bit more strength. So, once you get to 30, you stop. You extend the head again because you want the airways to be clear. It says when you're lying on your back and you're unconscious, the tongue just rests on the back of the throat and it blocks air getting into the lungs. So when the head is extended like this, it moves the jaw and the tongue out of the way and air can go down into the lungs. So before you breathe into the casualty's mouth, you must extend the head. Hold, use the heel of your hand on the forehead or 2 fingers under the chin. Then, if it's a healthy mouth, you make a seal around the mouth, mouth to mouth. You take air into your lungs and you breathe it into the casualty's mouth so it goes down into the lungs. If the mouth has got blood on it, you have to protect yourself from blood to blood germs and bacteria and virus. So you would have in your first aid boxes some face shields for protection. You would open one, line it up with the face, eyes, nose or mouth. You would fold it, but you must still extend the head and clench the nose before you breathe. Why do we want to clench the nose? To stop air just escaping. So deep breath in. Listen again. See if they started breathing, looking at the chest. 10 seconds. No, they're not breathing. You continue again until you're exhausted. Or if you get tired, you can ask somebody to help you. They can stand on this side and they can be pumping. And you stand on the opposite side. And when they've done 30 compressions, you would move the head back and you would breathe. You would listen and they would get ready to pump. So you can share the load or the task. Now, you're not meant to give up until the ambulance arrives. You can't say, oh, I think you've had enough. You don't look as though you're coming around. You can't say anything negative. You must encourage them, even if you think, gosh, you don't stand a chance. Keep that to yourself. Okay? So, even if their body's cold and they look like a ghost, you know, you have to just you just have to pretend and be professional. So, you continue until they may start to breathe again. They start coughing because you're pressing on the chest and they might start. When you're pressing down, always feel for movements in case you feel something pushing back on your hand, then you would turn them towards you. But if not, you continue until they resume breathing, or if the ambulance arrive. They'll take over. But you must call the ambulance before you start pressing down, because you don't want to keep pressing and then you're exhausted and anybody call the ambulance? Oh no! And you have to keep going. They're the professional help. They need to be alerted fairly quickly. That's why we say get someone else to call them while you get on with pressing on the chest. For adults, you start with compressions, because the heart is more difficult to stimulate. And we want blood going to the brain. We're aiming at 3 minutes. After 3 minutes, they say, if you're not getting blood to the brain, even if you're resuscitated later, you could suffer some brain injuries, or you could end up being in a wheelchair, end up on a ventilating machine. We don't want that. So we need to be quick, we need to be professional, and we need to get people involved, coordinate some action, and we get on with pressing on the chest. If we get tired, as I said, you can ask the audience, anybody there, anyone would like to help me? Just show them what to do. Hand across the chest, other one on top, keep your elbows straight, and just press down, keeping your fingers off the chest, so you don't break too many ribs. But yeah, for bigger people, you will need more pressure. For thinner people that are much skinnier, you will use a bit less pressure. And for children, 2 years to 12, 1 hand. And for a baby under 2, you use the 2 fingers, okay? So this is a baby. Babies are always on the lap, head down, feel for the stomach. Much faster, because the baby's heart beats twice as fast as the adult. So this is for under 2 years old, okay? But you start with the breath first for children. Children and babies, that's children 2 to 10, 2 to 12. If the parents come and tell you, the mother or whoever, my baby's not breathing, you tell them, okay, I'm a first aider, my name is Joan Manning, I'm going to check if your baby's breathing. You must always check. Don't accept anyone telling you it's not breathing, because you shouldn't start pumping unless you're sure that the heart is not beating. So you would still check, you would put the head back, you would listen, you would look, tell the person, I'm just undoing her coat to see if her chest is rising, falling. No, she's not breathing. Can you call the ambulance, please? You're right, she's not breathing. Let's get some air into her lungs. If the baby's nose is right next to the mouth, you can cover both with your lips. But if not, you have to clench the nose. You start with the breath first, with the babies and the child. 5 quick breaths, because the baby's lungs need stimulation quicker so that they get oxygen to the brain. And then their heart is normally faster beating, so we do the heart pump after. So 5 quick breaths. And then with 2 fingers on your lap for the baby, twice as fast. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. And then you listen again. No, and you continue. Now 2 breaths. It's only the first one, that's 5. And then after it's the same as adults. 2, 30, 2, 30, whether it's finger or hand. So 2 breaths now. Listen. Now 2 more breaths. And you continue. And a child, you would again tell the parents, I'm going to check that your child is, whether they're breathing. Make sure this is out of the way. Look at the chest. Feel. No, you're right, your child's not breathing. Can you call the ambulance? I'm going to breathe, put some air in your child's lungs. 5, one hand now. Feel for the stomach, move your hand up, across the nipple. Head up, pinch your nose, listen. Now, and you continue. Be careful not to be too much on the edges because you will break the little bones on the edge. Make sure it's right across the nipple. So, adults, 2 hands for the pressure. Children, 2 to 12, 1 hand. Over 12, you can do it moderate with 2 hands. 2 to 12, 1 hand. Under 2, 2 fingers. We're going to go outside and practice that, and then we're going to show you how to use a defibrillator. And then we'll move on to the next thing, which is to turn the person, once they start breathing, into the recovery position. So, number 1 thing, preserve life, make sure they're breathing. If they're not breathing, you assist them to breathe. And then you turn them towards you after you've checked whether they've got any spinal injuries. And the third thing about preserving life is if they're choking, if somebody's choking, there's something blocking the airway, they can't get air in, they start panicking, and they can lose consciousness if oxygen and air not get into the brain, so they can fall. You check the body and turn them in the recovery position. You're preventing their tongue blocking the airways. But if they're choking, you would initially, before they fall down and collapse, you would do 2 things. You would find out, always ask them if they're choking, even though you may think they are. Hello, my name is Joe Manning, I'm a first aider. Are you choking? Lean forward, please. I'm going to slap you 5 times. Slap them upwards. 2, 3, 4, 5. If it doesn't come out, your job is
to stop really fast. 5.
If it didn't come out, you've got to do what's called an abdominal thrust. So still keep them bending. And for adults, you would press using both hands tightly in their stomach, lean forward and tell them, keep coughing. 2, 3, 4, 5. If it doesn't come out, you go back to slapping. 3, 4, 5. If not, again, 5, 4, 5. And you do that alternatively. Slaps, abdominal thrust. It was invented by a man called Mr. Heinrich, the abdominal thrust. So some people know it as the Heinrich maneuver, if you've done it before. So, those 3 things, resuscitation, recovery position, and dealing with choking, are the 3 key things, quick things, that we will do to preserve their life. The second stage that we're going to do is about preventing their condition from getting worse. What are the conditions that can get worse? Bleeding. If they're losing too much blood, you've got to stop the bleeding quickly, apply pressure or a tourniquet. 2, you will immobilize a fracture after you stop the bleeding, preventing that from getting worse. If somebody's got burns, you would immerse the area in cold water or get ice, and somebody get ice, put it in a big plastic bag, put it on them, whether it's the face, whether it's the body, arm, leg, whatever. Ice helps to minimize swelling. And for burns, it helps to minimize the liquid coming up into a blister. So, burns, choking, all other conditions, heart attack, strokes, epilepsy, fits, allergic reaction, all those things, strokes, nosebleeds, all those things, we're preventing their condition from getting worse by knowing what to do. And thirdly, while we're doing these two things, we must promote recovery, we must try and encourage them. Say nice things. I'm going to try and help you to get your lungs working again or your heart beating again. I'm trying to get that object out of your mouth so you can breathe again. I'm trying to stop the bleeding so that you don't lose too much blood. If somebody's got a knife or a broken bone or anything sticking out, don't twist it, don't move it, don't shove it to one side. Leave it where it is and support it. We'll do that when we do the bleeding and managing blood outside. So say nice things. You'll be all right. The ambulance is coming. Can I ring your relatives? Can I contact someone for you to let them know you've been injured, you're going to hospital? Have you got family? What are they? Are you married, single, boyfriend, girlfriend? Have you been in this country long? What's your favourite food? What's your favourite sport? Anything. Holiday, anything to keep their mind active. You're not supposed to try and let them go to sleep, because if they go to sleep, they could drift off to the clouds. Bye-bye. Okay? So, promoting recovery. These are the three key principles, and we'll elaborate on that as we go outside. So let's go outside and give you some practical element so we can get on quickly and get out of here by about 6:15. As I said, when we have a lot of people, we've got to let them do all the practical elements, so it takes time. And then if people have done their SMSTS, we don't want to keep them longer than an hour and a half after, so we break it up into. You're going to check for response. Hello, you're going to introduce yourself, tell them who you are. You're going to tell them your first aid. Rhythm, heartbeat, electrical impulses. And once it doesn't pick up any signal, it will tell you, now keep away from the casualty, press the orange button, it would send an electric shock once you press the button, and that in itself might make them jump and start breathing, get the heart pump. So it would tell you whether you don't need to do any more CPR. CPR stands for cardiac pulmonary resuscitation, which is both things. So it would tell you when to use this if these were sticking, but it's not sticking, so it won't tell you. And then the blue button would tell you once you send the signal, and it would tell you start CPR. You would come close to the casualty, put your hand across the nipples, put your body over the casualty, and you keep pressing down. And then it will give you the amount of beat. Boom, 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 boom. So you know the rhythm in which to continue the pressing. Let's say you should press down about 5 to 6 centimeters deep, but you won't be able to measure that. So you just have to know if it's a big person, more strength, and if it's a medium skinny person, a bit less. If they're not coming round quickly, you may have to give them, a bit of welly, because you want them to come round and be alive and then get them off to hospital. You don't want anyone to die at work. So that's what you've got to demonstrate with each of these. You can take the mouth off, you can have a mouth shield. Okay? You want to tell me? Oh, you've got one, yeah. Carry on then.
Right, yeah, I'm going to press in your chest and keep your heart beating.
Right. So you do that when you start.
Yeah.
So I can do now?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Hello.
Hello, me.
Check for danger. Ooh, she's old. over 60. Sometimes you come with your first aid box, you look for danger, no danger. You see the person, if their eyes are open, talk to them. Okay? Hello!
Hi.
At least you're alive, you're breathing.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yes.
That's a relief, he's breathing. I need to put you in a comfortable position, but I just need to check your body for injuries.
Okay.
Let me know if you feel any pain when I touch your body.
Yes, I pay.
Okay?
I have paid my life.
Right, listen, for the first time, no pain. Second time,
Okay.
I'm going to tell you to feel pain here and there.
Okay.
So that's second time. But first time,
No pay.
no pain.
Yeah.
So let me know if you feel any pain.
Mhm.
Nothing,
No.
nothing along your side.
Mhm.
Nothing down there. If they've got things in a pocket, you may need to remove it so that they don't lie on it. But tell them, mainly this side where you're going to turn them. Okay, start again from the head, neck, shoulder, along the back. Oh, you've got some things in your pocket. I'm going to remove it, but you'll get it back at the end.
Yeah, okay, no problem.
There's it over there. Keys, phone, anything. Remove any glasses. You don't want them to lie with the glasses and it breaks and cut their skin. I'm removing your glasses as well. Okay? And making sure nothing will hurt your side. Then you take this first hand nearest to you. If it goes flat, fine. If it doesn't, put it out. Then the next hand, back of the hand to his ear, hold it there. His leg that's further up some way, bend it up or use his trousers and then put him over towards you. Okay? Make sure he's lying on the palm of his hand and over on his side, head back. Come and have a look so that he can't roll on his back. His mouth can drain any blood to the floor and his tongue won't block his airways when he's on his side. Okay? Does that feel comfortable? Yes. Okay. And some people like to bend the arm and to do it like that. Yeah, it's like a pillow.
Almost
You're going to go home tonight. So, for pregnant women, always on the left, you turn them. Because if you turn them on the right side, the other side, they will squash the umbilical cord that's feeding the baby with oxygen, and the baby will be starved.
So, but where's the baby? You put it on the right?
On the right, yeah. So, pregnant women always turn them like this on the left. He's on his left. But anybody else, men and women who are not pregnant, it doesn't matter which side.
I have a question. If the pregnant woman is injured on left side,
If it's
injured
pregnant,
like what they on left side, so how I can to turn on that side with blood running
it
out?
doesn't matter if there's blood. If there's blood, sometimes you may need to put a pad there. You just, well, if you can't turn them, leave them on the back. But turn the head. So that's a good point. Okay, lie back on your back. So, this second time now, I'm going to feel for bleeding and fractures. Can you get some bags with dressings? Pull that drawer out. Second drawer, third drawer down. Third. Yeah, the bag with lots of dressings. Just pull the bag out, the plastic. Lift the plastic out. Yeah. Okay. So, start again. When you're checking for injuries, ideally you should put your gloves on just in case there's blood. You don't want any blood getting on your hand in case you got a cut and you don't know. Okay? So you were cooking last night, chopping up the onions, scratch your hands, and you come today and you're doing bleeding. If you've got a cut and they've got blood-borne diseases like hepatitis B or AIDS or HIV, you could get contact with your skin if you got an open cut. So they say always check, make sure you have your gloves in your first aid box and put it on. So once you put it on, you tell them again, hello,
Hi.
I'm glad you're breathing. I'm going to turn you, but I need to just check that you've got no injuries. If you've got injuries, I can't turn you, I'm afraid. Okay, so I want you to say if you feel any pain. When I say touch here, you say when I touch there. So let me do you again.
Yeah.
Nothing. Under, the side, down, nothing. Oh, right. You seem to have got a cut here. If you can't see it properly, you may need to cut the cardigan to see how far the wound is, how big it is. Okay? So make sure your first aid box has a scissors. And because you haven't finished checking his body, just put a pad there. Tell him to hold it there. Continue.
Yeah, and ow.
Oh, right. He's got another cut here. Can you get me a pen in that first drawer? Yeah, red pen. Yeah. He's actually now broke his bone. So this is his bone. It's moved. Don't push it back in. Don't twist it. Don't hurt him unnecessarily. So you've got a broken bone here. I'm going to make sure I stop the bleeding for you, alright? So you put 2 pads either side to keep the bone secured. Or if it's a knife, if it's a piece of glass, anything, don't pull it out. Don't pull this out, it's stopping the bleeding. Because if you pull it out, you bleed more. And we don't want you to bleed unnecessarily. So, I'm going to wrap this up for you. Bear with me. Are you still with me?
Yes?
Good. You're not going off drifting to Wonderland, are you?
No, going to Tenerife. Next week.
You're going to Tenerife? Ooh.
Yeah, next week should go. But I think now I will be in hospital.
Oh dear. Well, let's get you better so you can go to Tenerife, alright?
Yeah, because they lost my ticket.
Oh dear. Was it in your pocket? So what happened? Did you fall from a ladder or from the roof?
Just one step on the edge and fell down from level 2.
Oh dear. Have you not gone on that level before?
Yes, of course. Just wind today was the
It's a bad day.
pushed me. Yeah.
He pushed you.
No, wind.
Are you the supervisor here?
No.
No, I thought you were, because he looks a mean geezer. He doesn't like any supervisors telling him what to do. He's not going to have it. So, all of them seem to end up like this. I wonder why. Oh dear. So, make sure you have things like this to keep it tight. And then you can stick this on. So that's sticky. Keep the bone out. Make sure the sides are closed off. So your bone. You broke your leg. Okay? So don't hammer a knife or a piece of glass or whatever. Don't push it in. Just support it with 2 pads like a bridge. And then put this thing around it to allow it. And then if it was a child and they were moving the leg up and down, you would tie it together. So you would put something in between, maybe something like this, support the leg and just tie it so that
It's for child.
yeah. So they don't move it about if there's a bone broken. You tell them, we need to keep it still. They might be in pain and moving it about. So tell them to keep it still. Put something there. That's very good. Now, if you were you had cuts and I couldn't turn you like this, and I want you to lie down, just keep lying down. And if you were going unconscious, you would just turn the head there. You may put something under his head and just keep it to the side.
Some brick, yeah?
Yeah, on a piece of cloth so it's not too hard on his head. I don't want to have a sore afterwards. Okay? If you haven't got any bag or anything soft, then you'd have to hold the head. Okay?
That's heavy.
Yeah, but if there's,
Head is heavy.
you know, just keep the head to the side. If it's to the side, the tongue won't block the airway. And just keep it like that till the ambulance come, or put a coat under his head or something like that. Okay? If you can't turn it, you have to just keep it like this and keep talking to him. So, young man, do you live around here?
It's broken neck.
If you broke a neck. Well, if it's broken,
You
you
can't
can't
touch
touch
it,
it. But
yes.
if it's not,
But
If it-
how you know I'm broken
well,
or not?
because you do that, and if
Ah,
he makes a noise,
okay.
you know, you leave.
Mhm.
If you don't make a noise, then it's okay to lift it.
Or maybe broken neck and nerves broken and I can't feel.
If you can't feel, then you can't know. But you have to prevent them from tongue blocking the
But
air.
if I'm not talking,
If you're not talking, the most important thing is that your heart is beating.
okay, he's beating, but I am losing my mind. Yeah, I'm
If your
somewhere.
heart is
But you don't
beating,
know, I'm not talking.
yeah,
You know what
I
mean?
could tell him, can you come here and keep talking to him, check his eyes, have a look at him.
But maybe I break into my neck. So that's what I'm
If you
saying.
can't feel it, it doesn't matter at the moment,
Mhm.
because we need to stop your tongue cutting off your air to your lungs.
But we not damage.
Because
More.
listen. Although it's damaged, if you're not breathing, you're dead.
Yes, but I'm breathing.
But-
Just like sleeping. Yeah.
Yeah, but I need to know if you can't talk, that the tongue doesn't go back and stop the air getting into your lungs. When you're on your back and you're not talking like this, the tongue will stop the air, and then I'm fixing your leg and I come and you're white, dead, dead, no red, no pink.
Yeah, I know.
So then I'd have to start pumping your chest. So if you're not making any noise, we do this so your tongue goes to the side and it doesn't flop back and stop air getting to your lungs. Thank you, sir. Because if there's no air can get in, your heart will stop. When you're not talking and you're like this,
Because you know, maybe I fall down like from level 2 or
Yes.
3. I'm alive. My
Yes.
heart working.
Your
but
heart,
I'm just
right.
not talking.
Right, listen,
And maybe
listen.
I broken back.
Listen.
No. I want to finish. And after he will blame me, I will damage his neck.
No, you
more,
won't, you
know?
won't, because you don't know his neck is broken, you can't see it,
Yes, of course.
but you need his heart working. And if he keeps lying like this, he will stop breathing.
You'd rather have
No,
broken
just
back
I mean,
than that.
yes, I understand everything, but just I mean, we have first aid, this box on the side, we have this shop here for electrician, but we don't have for the neck, you know,
No.
the putting for
Yeah,
people.
we don't have
Yeah,
that.
so that I'm saying.
Yes,
It's
that's true.
Good point actually.
It
the
is a
side.
good point to
Should
build,
be.
to
Should
build.
be.
Yeah, but with this country, we don't have anything to hold the neck up. But they say you are. That's why, if you were breathing and you weren't broken, you didn't have a broken leg, we would turn you on the side.
Because myself, I had accident,
Yeah.
vehicle, yeah, and but myself, I go to Whitechapel Hospital and they said I had accident, I just vehicle damn to us in the back, and she said, what you feeling? The nurse, yeah, she said, just little bit pale like that, yeah. Straight away bring me this, don't move, go to the X-ray.
Yes, right, listen, that's good. The hospital,
Right away.
yeah, but the hospital has all the equipment. We are just doing to keep you alive, for them to do more professional work on your
I'm waiting
body.
the ambulance actually. Yeah.
But we need to know when your head is like that, you can stop breathing very easily. To turn them, even though it may be painful, we need you to get to the hospital still with your heart beating, because if you don't turn it and you stay there long enough, you will stop breathing. Because you can't, when you haven't got the mouth moving, it just rests like that.
Yeah.
And no air can go in. So when you start talking, it will move, your tongue will move, and air will go in. If you're not talking, it's dangerous. That's why we would have put you on your side. But when you can't go on your side because you have damaged leg or damaged spine or damaged thing, we must try and keep your head somehow from your tongue blocking your airway, and then your heart would stop. So we can't think about your neck now unless you made ah. If you didn't go ah, we don't know. So
If I feel so not moving,
not moving, but at least you're talking because you said ah. So we keep you talking, you're breathing as long as you're talking. Yes, as long.
No moving head.
No moving head if you can talk. If you can talk, we keep you talking. So, what is your name? Where do you live? What do you like to eat? When did you last eat? What's,
You will go to hospital.
yeah, we're gonna do holiday, everything. Then just keep them talking to stop them going to sleep. Because if they go to sleep, it's no good for their heart. Okay? The heart will stop. So that's the job of you to know when to do something, when not to do something. Okay? So that's if they're not talking, you must turn the head. But if they say, oh, you know that they've got an injury there when you're pressing down on the body, or they've got an injury there. So you must press so they can say ah if they feel you pressing on a painful area. Okay? Wait, so he's got that. Now, the next thing you would do, I'm doing everything all in one today just to get it ready. If this was still bleeding excessively, you would put the bandage, but more blood is coming through. You have this thing called a triangular bandage. Yes. You're going to use this like a rope, and you're going to tie off his leg a couple of inches up from the main damaged area. Artery, yes. Tie it. That will help to stop. But you must check that supply of blood is going to his toes. So you must either take off his shoes and socks, look, make sure his leg is not swollen, ask him if he can talk, can you feel me pinching your toes? If he says yes, you know blood is going there and it's healthy. If he can't feel it or he can't talk, as I said, take off his shoes and socks, feel the leg if it's getting hot and swollen, and you may need to undo this. First of all, allow a bit of blood to go back to the leg. If it starts to pump again, you may need to tie it again. So it's on, off, keep on, yes. Yeah, because you don't want no blood at all going there, and then waiting, and it's really tight, he can't talk, you go hospital, it's tight, it's really squeezed, stop blood going there, by the time he gets to theatre, they'll finish, yes. Okay? So,
with the arm as well, same.
Arm same, yeah, if you tie off anything, you must monitor. If you look, and this looks fine, there's no more bleeding, just take it off. Don't have to leave it there if you think the blood has stopped. Sometimes if he's still asleep and he's not making any noise, elevate the leg and take this off. Because if you elevate, it will stop excessive blood from pouring out here. Okay? Now, you still have to check him if he's unconscious, his face. Make sure he's not going into shock. Make sure there's not too much blood has left his brain and is coming out. So look at his skin. The whiter skin will look bluish grey. The darker skin will just be ash color. So you need to look inside the eyelids. If it's not red, you know no blood is going to the brain. So you elevate anyway. So get that dummy there, get that thing, and you put the good leg up first. Just elevate, or somebody hold his leg up while he's lying down, and if higher we're on the chair. And if he can't feel this one, you elevate as well. But if he makes a noise when you're lifting this one, you leave it and just elevate that one.
So how can you elevate both of them?
Well, because he's looking so pale, he's a ghost. I looked in his eyes, oh gosh, there's no blood. I want blood to go back to the head. That's called shock, treatment for shock, arterial shock. Blood moves from upper part and it's escaping because I didn't tie that off quick enough. He was hanging up there. Hope he's not hanging there, because if he's hanging there you can't pull him down. Okay? You might cause more damage. One guy mentioned to me here that he was a supervisor on site and a guy had an elevated platform and he didn't click it in properly and the thing slipped and his leg was hanging up and he was upside down and his leg was cut and blood was pumping. And he said, I had my suit on, I go to help him, there was blood all over me. When the ambulance came, they thought I was the person that was injured. They were going to put me in the ambulance. I had to say, no, it's him. So he said they eventually got him down. But yeah, he lost a lot of blood. He was unconscious. But I had to keep talking to him while he was there so that he didn't go off to sleep. And eventually the ambulance came and the fire brigade and cut him loose. So